Jon Montgomery's life has been a series of adventures since his Olympic win in skeleton racing in the Vancouver Whistler Olympics in 2010 and chugging a picture through the street celebration. And now, as the host of Amazing Race Canada, going into its 8th season, Jon travels the country filming and sharing insights on why the goals we set for ourselves are only as achievable as we believe they are. His story inspires us to take personal leadership and go after our own stretch goals with tools that create the resolve that we have what it takes to dream big and believe in what's possible. And I can attest to his ability to encourage teamwork and fun. He's brought our team together for axe throwing evenings and more, and we've seen his entertaining auctioneering skills in action. We're pleased to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Jon Montgomery. Hello, Jon.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I just want to get an approval on that before we move on, because you never know if anybody's just going, when's he going to start talking? Before I do get started, I have to say a huge thank you to Teresa and the team at NSB, because, well, I think we can all say emphatically on this call right now that the National Speakers Bureau has your back. And that's a fact, Jack. No questions about it. So with that, a very special thank you to you and the team. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's party. Okay, moving on. Literally. Speaking of which, I will be doing exactly that next week. Moving on. I will be moving on every second day for the next 5 weeks. And I'll be doing it not because I'm a Rolling Stone and I want to gather no moss, but rather because, ladies and gentlemen, on Monday, we're about to begin filming, finally, season 8 of The Amazing Race Canada. And you know what? My skates just fell down. I'm not even going to let it rattle me. They're actually my dad's. You know what? When I stop and think about it, it feels like it's been years since we did a lap. Oh, sorry. A lap is in the biz cool guy talk for shooting a season, or so they tell me. It could actually be a joke at my expense because I'm running around saying, hey, when are we going to do our next lap? Anyway, I'm excited for our next lap because I can't wait to get back out there on the open road, or in my case, on an airplane with recycled air and people. Starting to sound less good when I say it out loud. People, hey? I guess I'm going to have to get used to them again. And damn it, I had better. You know why? Because we need each other, ladies and gentlemen. Well, okay, not you and I specifically needing each other, but generally speaking, we do. We need each other. We need each other more than air, just about. Period. Full stop. No question. Humans need one another for everything. It's how we evolved. We think we need a blinking cell phone. Well, we do. And don't get me wrong, I came home from Hawaii because I forgot it on the kitchen counter. But we really don't need them. We've just been conditioned to think that we do. For the last 20 years, we've been conditioned to think that we need cell phones. We've actually been conditioned to need each other for over 20 million years. Since we were single-celled amoeba, we needed Dave next door to help us get to the next rock, maybe. I don't know, but we needed one another to propagate for communities. And to just be here today is a testament to the fact that humans have needed each other for all of history to survive, to us to be able to share this space, talking over the internet. So it honestly makes me proud as punch to be able to be a part of something that celebrates those ideas, those ideals of teamwork, of grit, of intentional will, of self-confidence, the types of ideas that we illustrate and show Canadians every episode. I mean, there's not a lot to even celebrate on TV these days. I mean, truthfully. So I'm pumped to be a part of a team that celebrates our country, especially now, to help reignite a sense of togetherness, our sense of community. I'll tell you guys something. Come on over here. I'd host the Amazing Race Canada for nothing. Shh, don't tell CTV. As opposed to next to nothing, which is presently what I'm working for. But it is amazing, to steal a term. And whatever, man, doesn't matter the money. It's the Canadian television industry. Ain't nobody getting rich. But it is the greatest gig going. Unless, of course, you're afraid of eating snakes or jumping off a 400-foot high bungee tower, then it could potentially pose some stress for you. But otherwise, it's a dream job, and it's right up my alley. We celebrate the best parts of Canada. Something that I would happily do in my sleep on the show every episode. Our scenery, our communities, and most importantly, you guys, our people, Canada's most valuable resource. The show connects Canadians from coast to coast to coast. Literally connects us, if only for an hour on a Tuesday night. We know our brothers and sisters across this land are tuning in and celebrating those same communities. And it's funny, I remember hearing that the Amazing Race was coming to Canada way back in 2013. And I, like a lot of you, I'm sure, just assumed that, well, Ben Mulrooney would host the Amazing Race Canada like every other program on CTV at that time. So I kind of freaked out when producers reached out to see if I had interest in auditioning. They were making no promises, and I don't know what sort of hopes they had pinned to me, but they asked if I would audition for the role of host. But as scared as I was to put myself out there, to be judged and to fail, I knew that I had to do it. I knew that I had to take those first steps towards this thing that gives me cause for pause. The trick is to step into the unknown, towards the things that scare you. And it's not about strength or courage. You don't need to be of a particular body type or a person to do it. It's simply a knowing. A knowing that you can step into your power. You know it here, and you know it here, and you know it here. But it's here, outside of our comfort zone, where the dance of life takes place. This is where the magic happens. Outside of the area where you feel comfortable and confident. And when you step outside your comfort zone, you realize these opportunities to grow. When I saw my first skeleton sled fly by me at Canada Olympic Park on my very first trip there, I took a flyer. I took a step towards a dream that I'd always had. And I signed up for a Discover Skeleton session later on that same week. One night, one cold ass winter night, one run, one experience, one dream born into reality in that moment. And that's all that it takes. But where does the urge to put one foot in front of the other foot come from? How do we overcome inertia, that static position, to take those most difficult on any journey first steps? Simply by believing in ourselves, period. Now, before I go on, I honestly, I have to admit that I got lucky. You see, before I saw my first skeleton sled rip past me, I was thinking about trying luge. Thank goodness, ladies and gentlemen, that didn't happen, because luge is for losers. I dodged a bullet on that one, I tell you what. So after trying skeleton and falling in love with this sport immediately, with the thrill and the excitement of the experience itself, I needed to figure out how to get stronger so that I could go even faster and become more competitive, maybe taking me to where I wanted to go, national team, the Olympics. This was amongst the many things that I didn't know at that time. I didn't know how I was supposed to do this, how I was supposed to build muscle in my legs. I'd been attempting to look better in a t-shirt at that point in my life. Bicep curls, tricep, skull crushers. I was a chicken. I had never approached my legs. So I set out researching different programs to strengthen them, to add power to my sprint start. And the program that I settled on to get me going opened my eyes to what I was truly going to need to become a successful athlete. Now, the program that I discovered called for me to do squats. Perfect. Squats ought to make your legs stronger and your glutes. That's exactly what I needed. But this program had me doing squats every day for 10 days straight. Curious. In retrospect, you shouldn't do anything except breathe and eat for 10 days straight, just as a tip. Every day for 10 days straight, 100 squats, which was 10 sets of 10 repetitions. That's 1,000 squats in 10 days. So the program said to start with a comfortable weight that you can easily perform for 10 repetitions, and then you do it 90 more times that day. And after only a single day, you're starting to get a little bit nervous. And here's the kicker. Every day you come into the gym, you add on that base weight from the day before, and then you add on 20 extra pounds, 10 pounds per side, 20 pounds every single day. So at the end of 10 days, you are doing 100 squats with 200 additional pounds on the bar. And I know what you're saying right now. You're thinking to yourself, come on, Monty, 200 additional pounds? Pfft. That's impossible. Yeah, and it is. It is impossible. You see, I had inadvertently doubled the recipe, doubled the workload by not actually reading the program, like, at all. Typical dude. I had just looked at those pictures and felt like I was absorbing that information by osmosis, perhaps. I crushed myself. I absolutely crushed myself attempting to finish it the way that I thought that it was prescribed. Well, you can imagine that I was pretty bummed that I couldn't quite get it done, though. Others had done it. Why was I such a loser? What's happening? So I finally went back and I actually read the program this time. And you can imagine, to my surprise, I realized that I had nearly completed the routine. Nearly completed it while doing 100% more work than necessary. 100% more work than was asked of me. I only made it as far as I did because I believed that what I was shooting for was actually possible. I believed it here. I wouldn't have persevered the way that I did had I known before starting that what I was attempting was virtually impossible. The power of just believing had propelled me past what would have been self-imposed limitations, doubts, mental hurdles that I would have had to have overcome if I'd known the truth that I had doubled the workload, that I was in the weeds, let's say, with my programming. If I hadn't known that truth, just believing that I was capable and that others had done it gave me the resilience to push on, to dig deep, resiliency to finish what I had started, to hoe to the end of the row, no matter how painful. I derived that not from character or physical strength. I derived it from a belief. Wow! Holy doodle! Things are truly only out of our reach if we put them there. If we put them up on a shelf and we use words like, I can't, not good enough, we'll never make it, my idea sucks. It will. It'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you will fail or fall short, regardless of whether you think that you can or you think that you can't. You're right, 100% of the time. We are our thoughts. Confidence is the key. This experience in the gym made me realize that if I was going to be successful at this new sport that I was now in love with, not only would I have to be good, better than I'd been at anything else in my life, I was going to have to be more confident than I had ever been about anything in my life up until this point. Confidence would be my ticket. And that's the skill that I needed to develop, along with my glutes and my quads and my driving ability. But this confidence is what I really needed to dig into, to hone in myself. What I was looking for and what I wanted to develop and what I wanted to possess is something called self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is an unwavering belief that I will accomplish that which I seek. Unwavering belief that I will accomplish that which I seek. Well, I looked around and I got a video for you guys to watch here. You tell me what you think if this shows what self-efficacy looks like. Have a look. On the internet, and I got sucked into the YouTube vortex as we can, for a video that shows someone who is confident, someone who owns their space, someone who is the master of their domain, and someone who possesses self-efficacy. And I found Barney, Raymond Van Barneveld. He's a professional darts player. Go ahead and roll the clip and we'll all have a look at this. So as you can see, Barney, he's not a fit person, not an athlete per se, but he is exceptionally good at his craft. And his craft is playing darts, 501. As you can see there, he just threw 3 triple 20s in a row. You've got Jenkins here, and Jenkins is a good contrast because you can see in their physical presence what sort of confidence they're exhibiting. Now watch Barney come back to the board here. Look at those eyes. Those eyes tell the story. They are laser focused. Another 180. 3 triple 20s in a row. Now watch Jenkins. Does this look like a confident man? He's doing the double pump fake. He's like, 9 plus 6, plus 7. I can't do it, lassie. I'm not even going to win this. You know, he doesn't embody confidence. Now, compare that to what Barney is about to show us here. He needs 3 more darts thrown perfectly. 1 more triple 20, bingo. 1 more triple 19, bango. And you always have to double out, double 12, bongo. There you are, the perfect darts game. 501. You can tell that the crowd are elated, obviously. You know, maybe nothing ever exciting happens in Scotland, but these people, look at them, they're losing their ever-loving minds. They know that what they've just witnessed is amazing stuff. And the people who do it once seem to be able to replicate it and do it multiple times. That's Raymond Van Barneveld showing. All right. So, what Barney was displaying there, aside from the madness that is professional darts, is self-efficacy. This unwavering belief that he will throw that dart exactly where he wants it. And that is a powerful tool to be leveraged by anybody in any situation. He believes that he will accomplish that which he seeks. Now, people who have a great deal of self-efficacy or assurance in their capabilities, they approach difficult tasks as challenges to be mastered rather than threats to be avoided. Now, confidence is not something that we're born with. It's not a gift to be given by your parents to you. It is a tool to be earned. Confidence is something that we develop like a muscle. And we develop it the same way, through repetition. Repetition of positive self-talk, of celebrating your small victories, like getting an automated controller to work, even if it was moments before a presentation. Attitudes, controlling your attitudes and your reactions, and the repeated reinforcements of external sources like friends and family, the countless reps of watching other people do what you want to do. All of these things feed into your ability to believe. And we need to exercise our confidence like a muscle. We need to train it like a racehorse if we want to be able to call upon it when we need it most. And we don't need confidence when things are going well. We need confidence when we've got to grind it out, when we've got to overcome. Our confidence or our self-efficacy, it builds mental fortitude. It tempers our mental toughness. And that's usually where we're caving, is on the mental aspect of things. It allows us to weather the storm in times of uncertainty, and it gives us the capacity to reframe things positively, to conjure and to be able to actually develop positive self-talk about ourselves in our brains. So after this revelatory experience in the squat rack, I began to ask myself, how can I create this feeling within me that will enable me to chase my dreams and believe that they are accessible, that they are in fact possible, not just something that I would like or dream about. I did the reps mentally and physically too, inside that squat rack. I developed many assets on this journey, but the one that I benefited from the most were my efforts to believe in me, in the work that I was doing, in my preparations, in my limitless potential. After all, I am human. We are human. And I love sharing details on the process and the personal anecdotes to paint this picture in your mind's eye of my journey through sport. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. You cannot do it alone. And you can totally do this. Confidence is contagious, more so than COVID. And when you get the sparks, they quickly evolve into a 4-alarm fire. The sparks that that confidence will elicit for you on your journey. In 2010, my SEV was at an all-time high because I had actively engaged in the process of cultivating that confidence. I wasn't confident that I would win, but I was confident that I could be the best version of myself on the day that mattered most. And when I was standing at that start line for my final Olympic run, the last 8 years of my life, the buckets of blood, sweat, and tears, the thousands of hours of practice, was all compressed into 52 seconds of competition on my final run of 4. Being present in a time like that stems from confidence, 100%, the only place it stems from. All the work that went into building confidence is what allowed me to be present and in the moment. That's key, in the moment. I wasn't thinking about my steering. I wasn't thinking about the finish line. I wasn't thinking about a beer. There would be a beer. And it might sound crazy, but I wasn't even thinking at all. Being present is about being vacant and void of all the noise and chatter in your mind. It's about getting out of our own way. It's about trusting in ourselves. Our self-doubt and our insecurities can't reach us here when we're in the zone, when we're in the moment, as some people call it. And we can't sabotage our own hard work. We can't psych ourselves out. And that is the tripping point that a lot of us get ourselves into. When the announcer clears the track and you hear a chime for your 30-second countdown clock begin to tick tock into the still night air on your final Olympic run, that's when you know that you're in the zone, because things slow down. Watch this video and see what being present and confident looked like for me on the day that mattered most. I'm going to have to go all out. I mean, if I even played a little bit reserved with the hopes of not screwing up, I'll leave myself in the dust and Martins will blow by me. So I have to let it all hang out and have one last smoking run.
From Russell, Manitoba, where in that town they had Mission Montgomery. John Montgomery is on his way. His final run in men's skeleton. A 4:61.
He saves his best for Heat 4.
Fastest start time for Montgomery comes in his final run.
He said he was going to throw down, and he had to, and that's what he's doing. So far, perfect.
Montgomery trying to build up the lead. Through the Gold Rush Trail in the Thunderbird, 1:44.8 for John Montgomery. His time will be 52:36. 52:36 for John Montgomery. He is the leader, but is it enough with Dukers yet to come?
Incredible run for John.
At least a silver for Canada. And now it rests on Martin Dukers of Latvia. Can he hold on?
Is it going to be enough?
No! It is Montgomery wins! Canada! Montgomery takes gold in skeleton.
Olympic gold medalist, the Olympic champion, John Montgomery. What does that sound like?
That sounds unreal, man. I'm gonna have to get used to hearing that because it hasn't sunk in yet, that's for sure. They gave us one of 14 record-setting Olympic gold medals that we as a nation earned together in 2010, and it's not mine. I'll keep it for us, but it's our medal, it's Canada's medal, and I would love an opportunity to engage with any of your audiences and share one of our Olympic gold medals with them, get their paw prints on it, and a little bit of messaging around building confidence. And I gotta say thank you to NSB, all of the agents, all of the staff, and Teresa for giving me this opportunity to chat with you today. And well, I look forward to the opportunity to getting it right and perfect next time. That one little video hiccup, that'll get me. I'll be thinking about that tonight. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Take care.
Thank you so much, John. You know what? I feel I got goosebumps. I am fired up with that anthem. And even that glitch that you referenced, it showed us the difference between the two scenes. So Very inspiring and insightful. Thank you. And I can see the comments coming in from the audience as well. You brought it all back. We are close to our time, but if there are any quick questions, we'd be happy to get something in. And I would address that, John. I thought it was great that you touched not only on some of the key messages you need to give yourself to build a sense of confidence, but also the fact about how important it is for it to be built like a muscle. And can you maybe, just looking as a question, what happens when you're feeling like you do the right things, but it's still not working out for you? How do you keep your confidence high?
Well, and that's the problem that everybody runs into, because there is no crystal ball. You'll never know whether this is going to be the pathway to fruition, or whether you're going to have to either take a lesson from it, rejig, repurpose what it is that you're trying to get to. But know that if you do stumble, if you do fall down, rather, know that when you do stumble, when you do fall down, that none of these things are abject losses, that they're a net fail, because you will have learned so much about yourself, about the journey, about what to repeat, and about what to do differently next time. And so you have to put things in perspective, scale it back, strip away the layers, and build it back up into what you know. I know that I did this. I know that I did this. I can change this. And it begins to take a different shape in your mind, as opposed to the one negative comment you read on Twitter that you think about for 4 weeks, and not the 900 positive ones. It's that same perspective with failure. If you zero in on it and let it consume you, it'll do it. You've given it permission.
Thank you. That is helpful. And I'd be happy to zero in on some of the comments. Terrific presentation. That was so awesome. Always inspiring. You've got some fans from Amazing Race, some Olympian volunteers as well on the line, and clients who have seen you speak and are looking forward to it. So thank you so much for sharing your content with us, John. As always, it's an honor to represent you and bring you to audiences. And thank you so much to our audience today. Feel free to share any last comments, and we look forward to seeing you at a future session with us. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.